If you live in Los Angeles, the Tesla Model S is a frequent sight, silently gliding along carpool lanes and stalking parking spots in Beverly Hills. Amidst the superficiality of LA, the Model S might seem like a feel-good electric car novelty.
You're certainly welcome to think that, but that would make you deeply, profoundly, 100% wrong.
The Tesla Model S isn't just a sedan, or kind of a hatchback, with some electricity thrown at it. It's a fundamental rethinking of what an automobile can be and what it should do.
There's obviously no engine, so instead, up front, you have a frunk that you can open with this little super cool key fob, which you may not be able to tell, but is very, very light. It just sort of pops right into your pocket. Frunk space, and then the car just sort of detects when you walk up to it. So the door handles emerge. When you sit down, unlike most cars where you'd have to push a start button, there is no start button. You just put the foot on the brake, put it in drive, and you drive away. One of the most striking aspects of the interior is the huge 17-inch infotainment screen, which negates the need for a lot of buttons and knobs. Everything is controlled through the infotainment screen. And one of the really cool things is that Tesla can update features as time goes on. For example, you know when you take your foot off the brake of an automatic transmission car and it starts to creep forward? The Tesla Model S didn't have that feature when they launched it, but people wanted it, and so Tesla said, sure, we'll give you that, and they updated it over the air. Now there's a button for creep mode. It's not what it sounds like. If you move to the back seat, headroom is a little bit tight here, but you can't complain about the floor because it's completely flat. There's no exhaust and there's no drive line coming back here. So yeah, completely flat floor. Then if you move to the trunk, yeah, it's just sort of a hatchback trunk. That doesn't seem all that impressive, except get these cords out of the way. You got a deep, deep trunk to make use of. And if you're so inclined, you can also spring for some rear jump seats, like those old Mercedes wagon rear jump seats where kids get to face backwards and make fun of truckers.
In keeping with Tesla's credo of perpetual improvement, the interior feels better sorted than the first Model S we tested, though nicer interiors can be found in similarly priced cars. For the classiest cabin, choose the $5,000 premium package, which improves material quality throughout, adds a power liftgate, and decks out the headliner in everyone's favorite polyurethane polyester fake suede wonder material, Alcantara.
It's worth spending a few moments talking about the infotainment system because it's the best infotainment system you can buy. With a big 17-inch screen, you have equally big buttons, and if you just spend a little time peeking around the interface, anything you want to do is immediately intuitive. If you go to Nav, you can make the screen full screen, it's pinch and zoom, you can swipe. It's like a lot easier than using your normal cell phone, and that's already pretty easy. Oh, and it's also worth mentioning that the backup camera is very high resolution, which allows you to see every subtle nuance of the creepy guy that's back there. Put the Model S in motion, one of the first things you'll notice is the complete lack of engine noise. Actually, what's interesting is that because the engine doesn't mask the wind and road noise, they might seem a little bit more obvious, but realistically, interior noise is not bad in the Model S, even on the freeway. Toss in a compliant, composed ride, and you have a very, very pleasant car to drive. If I wanted to complain, which I will, the steering feels pretty artificial when you're steering it, okay, but most people don't care about that. What they care about is that the car is going to turn to the degree that they want to, and with gusto, and that it does very nicely. And now more acceleration. Tesla's been selling cars long enough that the image of electric cars as lethargic machines for self-absorbed do-gooders is largely dissipated. But in case you need proof, you could describe acceleration in the top-tier P85D version of the Model S as unrelenting or overwhelming, but I think Tesla nailed it when they labeled it insane.
Let off the accelerator, and you'll experience deceleration more assertive than Tom Cruise in a comparative religion study group, as the Tesla converts motion back into electricity.
With a total output of 691 horsepower between the front and rear motors, the P85D can accelerate from 0 to 60 in about 3.1 seconds and tops out at 155 miles per hour. So if you're rolling around in a Hellcat or a Lamborghini or something and you see a car with a P85D badge, think to yourself, do you feel lucky?
the record, there's no shame in buying the lower tier 70 or 85 kilowatt-hour models. They each hit 60 in less than 5.5 seconds, with the all-wheel drive 85D knocking out a very brisk 4.4 second run. Powering all this insanity is a hefty lithium-ion battery pack, spinning one motor for the front wheels and another for the rears. Yes, all-wheel drive is now standard throughout the Model S lineup, though you can still buy an 85 kilowatt-hour model with rear drive only, which removes the front motor, obviously, along with $5,000 from the price tag. Speaking of prices, they start at $75,000 for the 70D, $85,000 for the 85D, and $105,000 for the P85D. That might sound pricey, but there are tax incentives. For example, in California, $7,500 from the feds and $2,500 from the state knocks a cool $10,000 off the top.
Before you can turn electrons into giddy thrills, you have to power up. Luckily, the Model S makes that easy with a variety of adapters. Let's see, you've got a regular wall outlet, you've got a 240 volt, you got this baby which allows you to plug into a J1772 charger, which is pretty much everywhere. But for quickest recharge times and speediest travels, you want to make use of Tesla's many free and abundant superchargers. There's a duck.
With more than 400 supercharger stations, it's possible to hopscotch across the country on electric power alone. Recharge times are longer than filling up a gas tank, but Tesla claims 170 miles of range after 30 minutes of charging. Based on our experience, that estimate sounds about right. Balancing out all of our praise is a little reality. There are only 2 cup holders in a car that can seat up to 7 people. These swoopy, stylish doors lack any kind of meaningful storage. There's also no covered center storage, just this big junk collection area. And if you're touchscreen phobic, good luck. Everything including the door locks and sunroof are controlled through this thing. Along with a standard 17-inch infotainment screen, every Model S includes navigation, parking sensors, and an 8-year unlimited mile battery and drive unit warranty. Also standard is hardware for Tesla's Autopilot vehicle automation suite, including a forward-facing camera and radar, as well as 12 sensors that detect objects up to 16 feet around the vehicle. Since the hardware is already installed, paying $2,500 to activate it might seem a little bit odd. But in addition to lane keep assist, dynamic traffic-aware cruise control, and self-parking abilities, over-the-air updates improve existing features and add new ones over time, making that $2,500 a reasonable investment. Another interesting add-on is the $2,500 air suspension. Not only does it adjust vehicle height, it's also location aware, allowing it to, let's say, automatically raise the vehicle at steep, frequently encountered driveways.
The Tesla Model S is unlike any car on the planet. It's insanely fast, weirdly practical, and it's supported by a company that's smart enough to invest in electric car infrastructure as well as ongoing updates. It actually gets better as you own it. There used to be a time where the big limitations of buying an electric car were practicality and range. That's not really the case anymore. The only limitation is price. So, if you have the money, and I certainly hope you do, the Tesla Model S is an amazing car to own, electric or otherwise.
Do is basically you hold the T down.
Oh, that. Yeah.
And then keep waiting. And then you see that little flash that happened? And then you just enter 007, hit OK. And then when you go to controls, go to suspension.
Nice.
And depth is in leagues. Sweet.